Okay, we'll continue to have, excuse me, people come in the room. Again, just want to thank you all for attending this evening. And Pam and I met last year, I believe,
Yep.
and I've been following her on LinkedIn, and we've been involved in some other things together. And I just think she's an amazing person. So glad she has time this evening to share with us how she is just really blowing AI out of the water with her change management efforts. And we just thought that this would be a great opportunity and platform to have her share with all of us how she's using a couple of applications. We're going to look at ChatGPT and Poe this evening, but some of you all probably have used, things like Canva, and there's so many other um, generative AI applications out there. So we are going to have a few polls that I'm going to try. So just to understand how our demographics are as far as experience with AI. And so it really would appreciate you participating in that. Just again, just so we know what the levels are. This presentation will be available. I try to do it within 24 hours, as well as the video will be available within 24 hours. So I'll send a link to both for you to download and enjoy at your convenience. So we'll go ahead and get started. Just take a look at some chapter business, and then we'll go right into the presentation. We'll have time for Q&A, and then we'll do a wrap up. And again, this meeting will be recorded. So we do have an upcoming event, ACMP Texas chapter, July 16th, Innovation Elegance, how a people-centric methodology improves the job market. We'll have the author of this book, who will also do the presentation, and he'll share with us a few excerpts from the book. So look forward to that on July 16th. And we'll have another in-person in Houston, probably about October-ish. We're trying to find a month when it's cool enough so that we can all get together. And they've been so well attended. This is going to be with the larger Houston professions. So we'll have ATD and ICF, the coaching professional organization. All of us will be together again, and it may even have one or two more. So look out for more information on that. For those of you who may or may not be familiar with ACMP Global, there are a lot of resources out there. I'm a part of a few of the communities that are on that website. So if you have any questions, if you're new to if you're new to change management, if you're looking for a place to get started just with meeting other professionals, that website is a great place to just go and browse around. They have new member meetings, I believe, like once a month. And it's just to get you familiar with what your membership offers and other resources that are available. So it's well worth the time to get familiar with that particular platform. There are also opportunities to volunteer. People are always looking for a way to give back. And whether it's here with the chapter or with the Houston region, San Antonio region, or a region where you're located, if you're not here in Texas, focus groups, participating with other events, there's always a way to give back. So if you have an opportunity, you have 1 or 2 hours a month, and you'd like to volunteer, you can reach out to your regional director. That would be me, Angela Middleton, or you can reach out to our chapter president. I see Jared is on the line. You can also reach out globally, and if you want to volunteer at that level. As I mentioned before, we have a survey at the end of the meeting that'll come up automatically. Again, we want to make sure we're putting on events that you're looking forward to, that help you grow, and that we're staying in alignment with that. Okay. And like I said, we're going to have some polls, some poll questions, not some polls, some poll questions here in the beginning. So this is my first time using this, so we'll see how it goes. If I find that it's not going well, please forgive me. But I just Zoom has so many offerings now. I want to see how many I can take advantage of.
That's okay. You're amongst family, so non-judgmental here.
We love technology until it goes left and
Until we don't.
right. We're just like and then Jared, did you want to jump in and share anything with our membership this evening?
Yes, thank you for that, Angela, and for putting this event on for us. I know it's something that we've talked about at the board and the global level, the intersection of change management and AI. So I appreciate you, Pamela, for coming and speaking to us about this. One thing I would just like to add is we're taking a look at our engagement with events, and we're taking a look at how we offer our events, both to membership and to non-members. I want you to take advantage of this opportunity to engage not only with our speaker, but you also get direct access to board members right here. And then also there's an engagement between you all. There might be a suggestion, a thought, an idea that you might want to share, and you can share via the chat box so that the community can continue to grow. So don't get discouraged by the fact or the idea that we're going to record this and make it available. There's still some exclusivity to this experience. And so I just want you to take advantage of it and welcome.
Okay, thank you, Jared. If you all have ChatGPT or Poe, if you already have those applications and you want to follow along, you're more than welcome to do so. Like I said, this presentation is being recorded, so you can always go back if you know you want to pay attention and then execute later. That's always an option as well. And this is my favorite plug about ProSci. There are so many change methodologies. ACMP has an association with ProSci, so through your ACMP membership, you're eligible for a member savings for the ProSci Change Management Practitioner class. It's a 3-day class. It is very rigorous, but it's a good class. If from an experience level, you're probably 1 or 2 years in, it'll make a lot more sense. It's not that if you're new, don't take the class, but it may be a bit overwhelming. But it's really good material. You have access to their database for a year as part of the tuition. And like I said, there are so many methodologies. This is the one where ACMP members can take advantage of a savings. All right. And this is our speaker disclaimer. So the views expressed by our speaker or third parties in our webinars are those of the speaker and not necessarily ACMP Texas. All right, so we just want to put that out there. And it's not that Pam is going to lead us astray, but we do want to make it clear that whatever she shares does not represent ACMP Texas. Okay. All right, so let's start with these. Oh my God, this is going to be so much fun. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. All right. Now, does this question come up for you all?
Yes.
Oh, yay. Do you know what artificial intelligence or AI is? Oh, yes. All right. Oh, that's perfect. Okay. Good turnaround. Okay. Just a few more seconds and I'll go ahead and close. Okay. All right. And okay, I did a share results. Okay. My goodness, this is actually oh, back. Okay. Okay. Have you used AI to meet some of your CM deliverables? Okay, this is good to know. It's over here too. Sorry if it looks like, okay. Oh, about half and half. Okay. All right, so we'll end poll and share the results. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, about half and half. Not surprised though, but that's okay. All right. And is your company, oh my goodness, currently using AI? Just 1 or 2 more seconds here. This is good to see. Really good to see. Okay. And the poll in 3, 2, 1. And I'll share the results.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm really surprised because there's a lot of hesitation in doing so. So that was good to see. And how would you define your experience level with AI? And that's any platform, not necessarily ChatGPT. Okay. And appreciate you all participating. Thank you so much.
It's great information.
It is. It is. Close the poll in 3, 2, 1. And I'll share the results. So
Okay.
excellent. Okay.
Good cross-section.
It is. That's a really good cross section. Okay, thank you all so much. Let me see. All my questions are out of order. Love it. Oh my goodness. So let me introduce Pam. Pam is a change leader with over 19 years change management experience. Her expertise includes using robust change methodologies, building and managing enterprise transformational change management offices, and leading and managing large complex change management projects. Pam has executed change in multiple global locations, including Dubai, Singapore, London, and Germany, across industries such as oil and gas, healthcare, energy, utilities, and manufacturing. So without further ado, welcome Pam Fleming. Yay!
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Angela. Both thank you to you and Jared for having me. Greatly appreciate the opportunity to come on and share a little bit of my knowledge with you guys. I've been using ChatGPT for a while now, and I've been using it in many different fashions. And looking at the poll results, it was actually quite nice to see that there's a nice cross section of people who have been using it for a while, people who are novice, and there's some of you who have not used it. And I think that that's not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. I think you're going to get there in time. But I think one of the things that I really, really want to talk about is some of the AI challenges and opportunities. And I think, Angela, in one of your polls where you asked, was your company using it? And someone had in the chat, they may be using it, but not knowing how to use it is really a correct thing. One of the challenges that I see that lots and lots of people, I'm not going to say organization, but lots of people face is that, am I going to be replaced by AI? Is AI going to take my job? Well, the reality is AI is great. AI is wonderful, but AI does not give us that human touch that, give the human touch that we can. It can come out with some great information, but we still have to finesse it. So it still doesn't give us what we need, where we can say we don't need humans. Regardless how good it is, it's always going to require some type of intervention. The other thing, as far as organizations, I think some organizations are embracing the adoption of AI, but then there's a lot of organizations that are not embracing the adoption of AI simply because of cybersecurity issues. There's lots of, people who can hack into systems and things of that nature. And there's just not enough known to a lot of these corporations about AI and how things get into their organizations. They're trying to use multi-factor authentication, all types of means and mechanisms to keep, the boogeyman out. But yet here's the introduction of AI that produces yet another problem for them. Now, I know the company that my current client, they're using Copilot, and I believe that's the furthest that they will allow AI to go. But they're not using it from many other perspectives because it's just a scary thing for them. Now, I do want to just take one pause and say, as we're having this conversation, I really want this to be an interactive conversation. I don't mind if I'm showing you something and you have a question, please, by all means, ask. I don't want to just be a talking head. I want you to get something out of it, not just, sitting and watching. I want you to be able to participate. And if you have a question, by all means, ask it. Now, as far as another challenge for AI is there's not enough information about how to use it from an organizational perspective. And the thing about it is when we are not careful with how we're inputting prompts or the types of prompts that we're inputting, we can create racial biases. We can we can create cultural biases, things that, you know, we don't necessarily intend to do or want to do, at least most of us don't intend or want to do that, but we can't be sure that everyone has the same intent as us. So I think that that's why a lot of companies are trying to ensure that they have the real lock and key on how AI is being adopted into their organizations. So just out of curiosity, have any of you heard any of what I just said about, you know, the cultural and racial biases? Has that been a thing for anybody? Have you heard of it impacting any organizations? So yes, so good. I'm glad that it's out there, because, you know, that implicit bias it's a big deal, you know, and just being truly transparent here, in an age where we went from in 2021, 2022 having DE&I all over the place to now it's kind of of disappearing of in some sort of sense. You know, we have to be careful with how we do things and how we say things and how we project things, because there's still a lot of sensitivity out there. And we don't want to be accused of, you know, change folks, especially in training people. We don't want to be accused of not having that sensitivity around it. And the biggest piece of AI that's presenting the challenge is the data quality. You know, what we get out of AI, honestly, is only as good as what we put in. And sometimes, you know, everybody's not going to have the best interests at heart. Everybody's not going to have that pure intent or positive intent like we should. But we all know humans are humans. We're all practitioners of either change or training. We know that just because, you know, that saying, you build it and they will come, that's not necessarily true. So we have to make sure that, hold on, another challenge is that we may be sharing private, proprietary, or confidential information. That is absolutely correct, Barbara. That is one of the main reasons why a lot of organizations is not using it, because they don't know how much of their information that's going to be out there in the ethers. And once it's out there, you know, we all know once something is out there in the internet, you can't ever get it back, regardless how much you try to erase or redact. So great point there. But that data quality issue, this is something that we truly have to be careful from that standpoint, because I've seen a lot of people just take the information they get out of ChatGPT or out of Poe or out of any of these other hundreds or thousands of chatbots out there, and they just simply copy and paste it. Well, that's something that we really shouldn't do, because regardless how beautifully written something comes out of ChatGPT, Poe, or Copilot, or any of these things, it could be factually incorrect. So we need to make sure that we also be mindful of not just copying and pasting stuff, because a lot of people do that. They have such heavy reliance upon AI right now that they're not really thinking from the perspective of, can I trust the data that I get out of it? Now, the opportunities with AI is that it has a huge upside to data mining. I mean, you can take an entire plan and pop it into ChatGPT, Copilot, Poe, any of these, and man, it will give you some really good stuff, but you really have to sift and filter through that to make sure that you are getting exactly what you're expecting to get. The automation with it is phenomenal. The amount of time it saves us to do the jobs that we are doing, man, I can't even overstate that, because you know, we've gone to when, you know, and I'll show you with some of these prompts with having to create, and I'm going to use an impact assessment as one of the examples, where we typically for impact assessment, either we would come in and sit in on process design workshops and capture our impacts based off of what we see current state is and what future state is, and we start to think about what's our impacts. Or if we don't have that information, we used to have to sift through piles of, you know, information, project information, you know, historical project information to try and get it that way. The automation of this absolutely reduces time. And the other automation piece is we can automate redundant tasks, you know, that we do every day. We can automate those so that it can save us some time. The other great part about it is fast ideation. You know, we just talked about how we get change impact assessment results by sitting in these workshops and reviewing all of this material. Now we can pop our thought into one of these AI tools and it will give us a lot of information to pick from. So, you know, we now have, you know, a vast world of information that's available to us. So we're not just confined to just our one line of thinking. The ideation it can take the place of an entire conference room full of people, but you still have to vet some of this, and the innovation is there. I mean, you know, you can't just trust everything that comes out of ChatGPT, Poe, wherever, but the innovation is there. So we just need to harness it in such a way that, you know, we really get what we need out of it. So with the challenges and the opportunities, and you guys, please feel free to come off mute and come on camera. What challenges and opportunities have you seen out there? Because I know we all work in different areas, maybe in different industries, on different types of projects. I would love to hear some of the, you know, challenges and opportunities that you have seen, or if you've seen some of the ones that we're discussing now. I know this is not a super shy group, so.
I can mention one, Pamela.
Mhm.
So one of the things I've noticed when using ChatGPT,
Mhm.
sometimes I have to prime it before I prompt it. So I have to tell it what I mean by something rather than what it may mean. So whether it's a histography, right? I might submit one and say, this is a histography to me.
Mhm.
Now, given that, can you put these bullet points in a histograph? So it's even something like that. Sometimes I find myself that, you know, whatever way they're getting information may mean something different than the tense I mean it in. And we may both be wrong or we may both be correct, but it's priming it so that you can get it to speak the way you want it to.
Exactly. And thank you for that, Jared, because again, remember I said, what you put into AI is what you're going to get out of it. So it's what goes in is what comes out. Good data goes in, you probably get some good information out. Bad data goes in, you're probably going to get some bad data. So, you know, we've all heard garbage in, garbage out. So I'm not saying that anything that we put in is garbage, but if we don't know what we don't know and we're not putting the prompts in detailed enough fashion, we're probably going to come up with something that's not meeting the mark. And so when I start to go through these prompts, you know, I want to show you guys how we can, number one, start to get the information that we need, and then how we take that same information and do different things with it. So any questions about any of this before we move on?
So Pamela, I did want to bring up, Angela mentioned from what she's noticed in general so far is a quick over-reliance by some of her colleagues on
Yes.
some of the generative AI platforms. That's a great point, Angela.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, that there's a huge over reliance on it, and that over reliance actually comes from people thinking, "Oh, well, this is AI, artificial intelligence. It has to be smarter than me. It must know more than I know. It's probably giving me really good data." And then they copy that data, they paste that data, they send it to someone, and then someone's like, "What are you sending me?" So of course, we have to mine and make sure that all of the information that we get out of any of these AI tools is that it's the correct level of information. Because remember when I said, it can be beautifully written, it can make sense to us, but it could be factually incorrect as well. So, and the other thing too is, you know, let's also make sure that we could pop it into one of those, oh God, when you're in college, plagiarism type things. You know, just make sure that it's not copying something from someone else's stuff, because I've had that where I've input prompts into ChatGPT before, and it's, you know, and it's referenced all this stuff that it's written, but it's someone else's stuff. So if I just go and paste that into something saying that it's mine, then number one, that's incorrect. Number two, it's not good ethics. And number three, it's plagiarism. So just make sure we're not relying upon that. So that was a great comment. So I'm going to now share my screen.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing, Pam.
Oh, okay. See, I'm so used to Teams where you can just take over the screen.
know, right?
Trying to get used to multiple things again. So, okay. So let me know when you guys can see my screen.
So we can see your screen.
Okay. So I am going to start with Copilot first. And what I'm going to do is I am going to, let me paste this in here. So I'm going to ask Copilot to create an impact assessment for a success factors implementation with the top 5 people impacts with mitigations. So, and there is also a paid version of Copilot. A lot of organizations use the global license when they have Copilot. But if you don't have that, I know some right now we can all go into Microsoft and use this, but I believe that there is going to be a paid version. But I do want to caveat this with one thing, and I'm not sure if all of you know this or not, but there has been a little bit of consternation around Microsoft's Copilot because they were going to, I think it was Copilot Plus that they were going to push out. But the problem with Copilot Plus was the fact that it was going to not only see your screen captures whatever you're writing, but it was going to save it. And so there was absolute concern around it saving all of the stuff that you actually put out there. So I say that to say, so now, you know, it's created my impact assessment. So what it it has identified some impacts. It gave me magnitudes and intensities, some mitigation measures, but I want to also show you the same prompt. Well, let me go back here. So when you go back in Copilot, so as you see, it gives you all of this stuff, and it just gives you like, what are some technical impacts of success factors? Here's where I feel like Poe is much better. So when we enter the same information in Poe, it's going to write it, number one, much better than it does in Copilot. As you can see, it's going to say my impact is, you know, there's skill gaps there. There's, and it also gives me the mitigations for it. There's organizational restructure, which is an impact. It also gives me mitigation. Data privacy issues, it gives me mitigations. So the thing that I like about Poe is that you can say, tell me more, and it will tell you more about all of what you just had in here. It'll give you more. You see, it took those bullets and broke them out into greater detail. Did you guys see that? How it's giving you more information around this. And now what you can do is you can take your next prompt. And Angela, I believe you may have these up for folks. And if you don't have these prompts up, like Angela said, you will get these so you can take these and play with these and practice them on your own. And if I were you, when I get these, I would even make them more robust, because the more information you put in here, the better results you're going to get. So I'm going to say now to take this information. Oh, let me recopy it. I'm going to refine this information. I'm going to copy it and paste it here. So I'm asking it to now refine the above information relevant to mid-sized utility companies. And so basically what it's going to do is, these are people impact based off of what's historically been seen for mid-sized utility companies. You can take this and insert any company. You can say large Fortune 500 companies, large retail companies, small retail companies. So imagine that, remember when we talked about faster to service? This is where it's going to help us, because the time it usually takes for us to do this has now been literally cut into quarters. I mean, we can do this very fast. But again, once you get this information, you now have to vet that this information is good. Now that we have this information, our next prompt is, now we want to be able to put this information in table format, right? We want to be able to say, let's put this information in a table, because this is not the way we want to present the information. And so now you see, it's created a table format for us. So let me just do a pulse check here. Is this information providing useful information for you guys? Okay. So now you see you have the same information in a table format. So imagine now you don't have to go and create a table. You can take this information, copy it, paste it, and put it into any document that you want. You can put it in a Word document, you can put it in your PowerPoint, you can do whatever it is you want to do. So let's assume now that we have what we need, and now we want to talk about how do we use this information to create some training. So let's take this same information and tell it, well, now what I want you to do is give me a training and development plan catered to learning styles. So it's going to tell me, based on what I've done, it's going to give me some classroom, it's telling me some options could be classroom-based training, e-learning modules. It could tell me some job aids. And also it gives me not just that, but it says, like, for instance, the e-learning modules, it tells me, like, who are my target audiences, what format it should be in, what are some of the potential topics, and how can this information be delivered. So this is a time saver. Imagine how much time, from a training perspective, for those of you who actually are training professionals, how much time will something like this save you? I mean, to me, it has been a saver, because I don't have to start from scratch. I now have a baseline to start from. Again, this is great information, but this isn't information that I'm just going to take and say, hey, I have the information I need. I am going to vet that they have given me relevant information, like my target audiences. Maybe it may be something that's not relevant for utilities. It may be something that, based on working in utilities, that won't be good information, but you have to vet that information. You just can't take it at face value. So let's say now that we have our training plan, let's ask it to design us a training and development path based on all of these modalities that it has given us. And I'm sticking with Poe right now because Poe gives us much more information. So based off of that, I now want a training and development plan which will cater to all of these different e-learning modalities. And now it tells you, based on my ILT class, this is more of who my target audience is. This is more of my format. These are a little bit more comprehensive topics and additional learning opportunities. And it's giving it to you for each of those impacts that we had initially talked about. And it's giving you all types of things. It gives you lunch and learn sessions. It tells you how you can do online KB articles. It tells you how to do job aids, or in quick reference, e-learning modules, instructional ILT classes. It also goes into more of change management and communications. So I show you guys this to say, you can get a wealth of information using ChatGPT. So if we just want to go down a little bit more granular, and it's just a few more prompts here, because I wanted to continue to build. Now, all of this stuff is successively building on the last piece. Now, if I want to create, based on all of the information above, if I want to create some personas for this, it should come back and create personas for these people. So as you can see, I've asked it to create 3 personas based off of the information. It's telling me Sarah, who is an ambitious learner, here is the career path that she can have based on what we've just put in there. Here's a training path for that persona. Persona number 2, Michael. He's an experienced manager. Here's the career path that Michael can take based off of, the relevant information that we put in here. And then here's some of the training and development opportunities we can do for Michael. The same thing with Emily. They say that she is a mid-career employee. She's apprehensive about technology, but based off of what we've put in our information above, it has created a career path for Emily, and it also has created a training and development path. So now it's not foreign, because this is just like when you come into a new organization, you get onboarding, right? So this is just kind of helping you with that. If you are in talent development, for instance, and you need to create a learning path for someone, this will be a quick way to help you understand how to create that learning path for a specific role. You may be creating a specific learning path for an OD specialist, OD manager, an OD director, an OD VP. You will get 4 different learning paths and 4 different personas based off of the information that you put in here. So imagine again, the time that this can save for you. And once you have vetted that what you have in here is correct, now you can take some of this same information, and especially if you're in talent development, it makes it easier for you to now go out, like if you want to do salary comparisons as to what should a salary be, you can do all of that now because you have a lot of this information that you didn't have to spend weeks or even months trying to define. So now that we have our 3 personas, let's think about, we want to create a curriculum for each of these going through multiple grades. And what that means is, like, and I'll show you in a second. So if we're talking about Sarah, who is an ambitious learner, her starting off point, maybe she's coming in as a junior analyst. So remember, we're talking about leveling and grade levels. So maybe her grade level, her entry level is a junior analyst. And then maybe her next grade level up would be a talent acquisition specialist. And it does give you some information relevant to, some training for her. Maybe her next grade up, her promotional opportunity would be a people analytics specialist. Now, you have to understand that we are using artificial intelligence, and some of these titles may not make sense to you, but this is again where we talk about vetting this stuff. And then maybe her next opportunity, promotional opportunity, could be an HR business partner. And then it just goes through the same thing for, the other personas. Michael, maybe he was a compensation analyst, and his next promotional opportunity is a compensation manager, and then a compensation and performance manager, and then it just keeps going. Then he could be the head of rewards and performance. So it gives you all of this information. And then say, for instance, if I just want to get very granular, and I want to create just a training outline for grade 2.
Pam,
Yes.
so we have a couple discussion points in the chat.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't see the chat.
No, you're okay. No, please, you're okay. Tony wants to know that she hasn't used Poe, and how is it different from ChatGPT? I would say that Poe has a better user experience, user interface, whereas ChatGPT, it's almost like being a SAS programmer versus SPSS, right? It's just the GUI front end that you have.
Yes.
Okay.
I agree with you. And again, with ChatGPT, it's not as robust as Poe. What you're looking at here with Poe, this is the free version, by the way. And there is another version. And again, remember I said with Poe, once you input your information and you get the output, you can scroll down and it can ask you, tell me more. You can click here. How can they apply insights and all of that? It will give you some good prompts where maybe you haven't thought of, that you can click. And now it's helping you refine and refine and refine. Because the one thing about AI is, the more you refine your prompts, the better output you're going to get. So that's what I'm saying. When you get these use cases that Angela's going to, when she sends out the PowerPoint, continue to add to it. Like the first one was create an impact assessment for success factors implementation with the top 5 people impacts with mitigations. You can continue to add to that if you want to. You can be as specific as possible. The more you refine it, the better you're going to get. And then again, if you want to, you can click on any of these. And what that's going to do is it's going to just compare that same information based off yet another chatbot in Poe. So you don't even have to go look for different chatbots. It'll give you at the bottom, these are some, you can just click it and compare to what you've already received. So this gives you a multitude, a wealth of information where you really just don't have to start from scratch. So I hope that answered your question, because I think the difference is, Angela, you articulated it very well. ChatGPT is just like, a SAS. With this one, you are actually getting not only the information that you've asked for, but you're getting additional information that you didn't even ask for, probably information that you didn't even know you wanted. So that's the good thing about it.
Okay.
One thing, Pamela, really quick.
Yes.
So also too, so as you can see there on the Poe application, it pulls in from multiple AIs, right?
Yeah.
So you get that benefit. And also, as they talked about too, the ease of being able to input information as compared to ChatGPT. The only thing I would caution you on is Poe, the subscription is like $7 more a month than ChatGPT 4.
Yes.
But with ChatGPT 4 too, even though that there is a GTP, now is going to get really nerdy, but there's a GTP AI 4 that pulls into Poe. It's just not as accurate as the one homegrown on ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a flavor thing in a sense.
Exactly.
But if you are just getting started, Poe is a lot friendlier, and it even gives you bots that can help you along the way, giving you prompts and things of that nature. Whereas ChatGPT, you kind of get to utilize it if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so I think this is English. Poe is English only, right, Pam? Kishori, I hope I'm saying your name right. Wanted to know, does it work in different languages? I think it's English only, and then you have to translate it, but I'm not
You
sure.
know what? That's a great question because I haven't had to use it for translations. So that's a good point. I will research it and I will provide the answer back to Angela, and she can send it out.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
will definitely do that.
Oh, you're welcome. And
So
then
as you can see, with Poe, I think myself, Jared, and Angela, we've all said that I think you get a much more robust user experience here. And especially if you're new to AI, this is going to be awesome for you, because the next piece that I want to show you is this. So I know we all like to use images in our different things. So here's the thing with Poe, because again, Poe has, oh my God, hundreds and hundreds, as you can see, just hundreds of chat bots. I mean, anything you think you want, and I mean, you can continue to scroll over. So it just goes on and on and on and on and on. So let me see which one I want to here. So, well, this one's already in there. I was going to put it in there, but I already put it in there. So I put in a prompt to create an image of a professional woman dressed in her pride colors facilitating a training in a high-rise office. And as you can see, it gave me what I asked for in a sense. But I say that to say that you can come up with any kind of different prompts that you want to, and there are so many chatbots in Poe that if you don't like what you get out of one, just try the next one. So I'm going to try, okay, so I'm just going to caveat this here. I grew up in Louisiana and I am an LSU Tiger, so I love getting pictures of tigers. And so one that, because LSU's colors are purple and gold, I always ask it to create an image of a Bengal tiger with purple eyes in a lush jungle setting. And let's see what it comes up with. And the only difference too with the paid one is that it generates just a little bit faster, but for free, I can wait 2 seconds. So this is the image that it generates. So if you don't like this image, then there are plenty of other ones out there as well. Now, I'm going to use this same, let me go to Copilot here, and I'm going to put, with Copilot, yeah, it does do pictures. I'm going to put the same prompt in here. And the thing about Copilot is, I don't know how many of you have used Copilot to generate images, but with Copilot, I find a lot of their images has like Arabic writing on it. But this is the picture that it generated from that same prompt that I put in Poe. Very same prompt, but as you can see, it generated 4 different images. Now, the one thing that I do like about Copilot, and when it generates images, if you don't like it, you can just ask it to generate, I think it'll generate up to 20 before you have to redo your prompt. So you can just ask it to, make the jungle more vibrant, and it'll do 4 more for you. It'll tell you that, but it's going to do 4 more images for you. But some of the images that I've tried to do, like when I wanted to make like a cover for a training, and I've asked it to put, like, my company's name is Change Navigators, and I say use Change Navigators. What I find is it spells it incorrectly a lot. So that's why I say, please be careful with, don't just copy and paste a photo or an image anywhere, because 9 times out of 10, most of the ones that I've gotten have been incorrectly spelled, and I've had to generate it like multiple times. And I've even had to go so granular as to say, please spell the names correctly on the slides. But as you can see, this generates just another four of these graphics. So I will stop sharing here, and I wanted to just kind of share with you guys some of the things that I use from a ChatGPT, from a Poe, from a Copilot. But I didn't go into ChatGPT because it was pretty much the same thing, but I wanted to show you more Copilot and more focused on Poe, because I do feel like Poe will give you the more robust user experience. Now, there's probably much more robust things that I could show you, but I want to make sure that when I do classes like this, I always try to do it from the least common denominator, and I try to make sure that I go as elementary as possible, because I don't want to assume anyone knows anything. And I think the more you start from an entry level, you can build your way up to some of these things. So I want to yield the floor and open the floor for questions about any of what you've just seen, and maybe any of you can share how you've used ChatGPT. So you can open the floor.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm calling from Ottawa in Ontario, Canada. So my question is this. It appears that it is absolutely critical to know how to type prompts or create prompts to be successful in navigating AI and ChatGPT and Poe. Is that correct?
Yes, that is absolutely correct, because again, the more detailed your prompt is, the better output you get from ChatGPT, Poe, Copilot, any of that. And what I will share, Angela, with you is a guide on how to do good prompts, so that you can share that back with everyone as well. So
Yeah, that'd be amazing, Pam. Thank you. Also,
Thank you.
Elise had asked about, thank you, Ade, about IP concerns, intellectual property. And I would say, Elise, probably it's the same as if you pull down any image from the internet. If it has copyright or some kind of trademark on it, then you do have to credit that image source. Now, with these generative AIs, because it's doing a crawl, that information may not come back, that it's copywritten. So just to kind of cover yourself, if you will, I would say to your image source. I would list your image source. Pam, I'm sorry. Could you share more?
Oh, no. I was actually looking at those at those tigers to my right. But I agree with Angela 1,000%. But with a lot of these images, because you can continue to refine and refine and refine, the more you refine, the less it becomes somebody else's work, the more it becomes stuff that you are actually putting in, especially with images. But I would still, credit where you got the image from. It never hurts. It never hurts. So what other questions do we have out there?
Let me just scroll up for a second, because we did have one I think I missed. From Angela, can you tell us some different things you've used? Let me see, I'm going to say Poe for to assist clients.
Is it from Angela, or are they asking you?
No, it's from Angela.
Oh, it's from Angela. Okay.
Here we got two Angelas.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you, I have used Poe to really narrow down on communications a lot, because it does a really good job of drafting an initial communications plan for me. Like if I'm starting and I don't really know where I want to start, I take some bullet points and I drop it into there, and it gives me some great prompts. I've also used it for impact assessments, just as I've showed you. I've actually also used it for a lot of the learning stuff, because sometimes when I go on client sites, I am a one-person show. So I am the communications person, the change management person, and the training person. So I try to use it as much as I can to help with that. And I also use it for some thought leadership. And, if I'm going to have an executive level meeting, then I use it for thought leadership there. I put in, what my top of mind thoughts are, and I get some thought leadership. And of course, just like Angela said, it crawls the internet for all of these things. So I do provide guidance as to where did I get this information, but it saves so much time from a client perspective, because just imagine that back in the day when we were doing all of these things, how long would it have taken you to, number one, do an impact assessment, then figure out what the persona is, then figure out what the curriculum is. I remember back in the day when I used to do curriculum development, it used to take forever because you had to sit with people in the business. And I mean, you still have to sit with people in the business to validate some of this stuff, but it would take you forever because you would have to sit with people in the business, bring your thoughts to the table, bring the whole PowerPoint to the table, the whole outline to the table, have someone else review it, and then they have to take it to someone, and it just took forever. Now you come to the table much faster, much very ready to have that conversation about, hey, here's our point of view of who our impacted audience is, who needs to be trained on what. So think about role mapping from that perspective, role mapping training, who needs to be trained on what. Here is the curriculum. Here's how we can execute the curriculum based off of, the things that they've told you. It could be e-learning, it could be instructor-led, it could be a hybrid training, it could be a quick reference guide. So the amount of time that it saves you to do all of those things is critical. And that time actually frees you up to now do more value add things. And that's where the client is starting to see the value, especially the clients that are allowing AI to be used. That's where they're starting to see the value, simply because now you get much quicker work. You get to the result faster. You get to show them stuff faster. They get to see things faster. They get to see outputs and deliverables faster. We get to make better decision making based off of predictive analytics. So that's where it's really helping us from both a change management perspective, a training perspective, and a communications perspective. So hopefully that answered your question, Angela.
Yeah. Michael had a similar question about what functionalities and capabilities might we see in the future. And Pam, I think you hit the nail on the head with that, is that we're almost going to agile. And I know that word is so overused, but we really are. We're almost going to agile change some of our deliverables, because we can put into learn, once we learn how to prompt. And thank you, Lindsay, for sharing that. YouTube also has how to prompt. If you think of the early days of the web and we had to learn how to search, that's a similar process to what we're doing here with generative AI. We have to learn how to ask questions, and how to ask questions so that when it's crawling, it's only pulling back information we need, not everything in the universe. And Jared, thank you for sharing with ChatGPT the various versions. Now, ChatGPT is open source, and anyone who's dealt with open source, it is what it is. It's free for a reason, right? And so it's not going to be maintained like a Poe or a Canva or something that's a paid development platform and experience. So the 4 I hear is a lot better. ChatGPT, I use 3.5. It does what I needed to do. And I'm really growing myself and like with Pam's help, moving into other platforms. So I know everyone is hesitant with new technology. I get there too. But this really can make a lot of what we do, just the repetitive aspect, to be so much easier for us, so that we can work on the strategizing and some of the other more present aspects of change management delivery that we need to execute.
And guys, you know what the reality is? AI isn't going anywhere. It's only going to evolve from here. So, it does us all well to try and embrace it. Now, the one thing that I don't embrace, and I used to in the early days, is on LinkedIn, oh, you've been one of these folks selected to answer this. All that is they are feeding their AI for more information to help build better AI databases. And so that's why I don't do that, because a lot of those responses you get, they're so far-fetched, and people just putting in their own crazy sentiments that, they're answering questions that, some of them, the question doesn't even make sense half the time. So, but if you subscribe to that, that's totally fine. I mean, you're helping LinkedIn, but I don't necessarily do it, because sometimes the questions are odd questions, and by you answering, that helps them build a better question. So again, that's just free, you helping AI. So it's not going anywhere. It's only going to get more robust. But at the end of the day, am I afraid that AI is going to take all of us out of business? No, I don't ever feel that way, because nothing can ever replace the human mind, regardless how they pose it or how they position it. It's just still a machine at the end of the day. And they won't have that human touch that we have. So I say we embrace technology, we embrace AI. If we're able to use it in our organizations, that's great, but make sure that you are using it within the guidelines of your organization's cybersecurity policies. Don't just go start using it and then, get yourself in, AI jail or anything, or end up in HR or whatever. But, embrace it. I implore you to embrace this new technology, because it's not going anywhere. It's going to make our lives easier, simpler, better, faster. And as the time passes and the years go on, it's only going to get better and more robust for us. And pretty soon we're going to be kicking out some better than awesome stuff, because, I wanted to do some Canva stuff, but I'm having some issue with my Canva. Can't figure it out since last night. So I didn't pull that in, but there's a lot of amazing things. You can go on Canva and you can get an entire deck created for you. I mean, you don't even have to do anything. You just put what you wanted about. I mean, so there's so much more, and it saves you so much time. Imagine the days where we used to go in and, start building our PowerPoint deck and looking for fonts and colors and putting tables and trying to line things up. AI does that beautifully in Canva for us. I mean, there is so much more we can do. And, hopefully we can continue this conversation, and maybe one of you can be the next presenter to talk about the next iteration of AI. I would love to hear that, because again, thanks to Angela and Jared for having me on, but I feel like we all learn from each other, steel sharpens steel. So
Absolutely.
thank you.
No, thank you, Pam. We're just coming up on time. We have like a few minutes. So I can leave the channel open, for another few minutes if you all want to chat. But, again, thank you so much for attending today. Thank you, Pam Fleming, for, again, putting this together, sharing, that's what I love about this community, is the sharing that we do. And, what you've shown in 30 minutes is going to save somebody hours. So,
Yeah.
so please, there are free, it's free portions, I can't think of the word now, of a lot of these applications, and some of the robust aspects you do have to pay for, but for just getting yourself up and running,
Yes.
take advantage of the free parts of the application now, because it won't be free for long. So really
Exactly.
jump out there.
And as for, I'm sorry. And as for Poe, honestly, I think the paid version just renders things a little bit more quickly, or you get just a little bit more robust of content. But at the end of the day, I don't know if I would say it's worth the paid version, because you have so much in there for the free version.
Much more for you. Okay. Pamela's also asking for feedback. So if you have your phone, go ahead and scan the QR code, or you can go to the website that says she has listed, and enter the code TALK when prompted, because she's looking for feedback as well as to, how she can reshape a class like this for the next iteration. So
Yes.
we're at the top of the hour. Why is my thing saying 2 different times? Anyway, we're at the top of the hour. It's technology for you. So again, everybody have a great evening and, hopefully a great weekend. And if you're here in Houston, hopefully the weather is done and we can really have a great weekend and get back to the nice hot weather we enjoy.
Oh,
Anyway.
God, I don't know about all that, Angela. But guys, please, before we go, please feel free. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to walk you through any of this, talk you through any of this. Because again, we all have a common mission and a common goal, and that's to do the best we can for the clients we serve.
Absolutely. So if no, does anyone have any questions or comments? If not, I'll go ahead and close the channel. And like I said, I'll have this ready within 24 hours. Give me 48, because I'll probably have
I owe
to
you something too.
redo the video, but yeah, and we'll get the slide deck to you as well.
Okay.
Okay. All right, everyone. Thanks again, Pam.
Thank you,
Have a great evening. Thank you, Jared.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, bye.
Bye.